In less than 24 hours at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, April 22nd, the two-week ceasefire between the United States and Iran is set to expire. For 14 days, the thunder of airstrikes has been replaced by a deafening diplomatic silence. But tonight, that silence is being shattered by a major announcement from Moscow. The Kremlin has officially signaled that its offer to remove Iran's 440 kilograms of highly enriched uranium is, quote, not on the table. This Russian solution, once seen as the only exit ramp from a full-scale regional war, is now sidelined, with President Trump warning of lots of bombs if a deal isn't reached and Tehran denying they ever agreed to hand over their nuclear dust. The Middle East is staring into the abyss of Operation Eternal Darkness. Tonight, we break down why the Russian deal stalled, the status of Iran's decimated nuclear facilities, and what happens the moment that deadline hits.
Let's start with the bombshell from Moscow. For years, Russia's Rostom has been the middleman for Iran's nuclear ambitions. The plan was simple. Iran ships its 60% enriched uranium to Russia, Russia downblends it to civilian grade, and the threat of an Iranian bomb vanishes. But today, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov turned the tide. He claimed that the US has shown zero interest in Russian mediation. Why the sudden cold shoulder? Our analysis suggests a geopolitical grudge match. Washington is hesitant to give Moscow a diplomatic win while tensions remain high on other global fronts. But there's a technical side to this too. Rostom's Director General Alexei Likhachev recently confirmed that over 600 Russian specialists were evacuated from the Bushe plant following the February strikes. Only 20 volunteers remain. Russia isn't just pulling the deal, they are pulling their people. Without Russia as a safe harbor for that uranium, the US and Israel face a terrifying choice. Let the material stay in a war zone or attempt a Project Sapphire-style seizure, a military operation that experts call suicidal.
To understand the stakes, we have to look at what President Trump calls nuclear dust. According to the latest IAEA reports, Iran currently holds approximately 440.9 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%. To put that in perspective, civilian power only needs 3 to 5%. Weapons grade is 90%. But the jump from 60 to 90 is a tiny technical step, a matter of weeks, maybe days. This stockpile is enough to create at least 10 nuclear warheads if processed further. Where is it? Our latest satellite data from Pink TV Intel shows the map of a crippled program. The Natanz enrichment site, the crown jewel, is heavily damaged and underground. The Isfahan complex is only partially operable. However, the Fordow facility remains intact and active. This is the red line. Israel and the US argue that as long as this 60% material exists on Iranian soil, the ceasefire is nothing more than a regrouping period for Tehran. But Iran's foreign ministry is digging in. Just yesterday, spokesperson Ismail Bagahi denied that any transfer of material was even discussed in the Islamabad talks. It is a total deadlock of he said, she said, but with nuclear consequences.
While the diplomats argue in Pakistan, the real war is being fought in the water. This past weekend, the Strait of Hormuz, the world's most important oil artery, became a graveyard for diplomacy. Iran attempted to close the waterway, firing on French and British commercial vessels. In a lightning response, US Central Command boarded and seized an Iranian cargo ship in the Arabian Sea. This was the first direct seizure of the current blockade. Trump's message has been blunt. The strait must be open, free and clear. If it isn't, he has threatened to, quote, blast Iran back to the Stone Age. This isn't just rhetoric. There are currently nearly 50,000 US troops in the region, and B-52 bombers have been spotted taking off from the UK heading toward Middle Eastern coordinates. The economic fallout is already here. Global markets are bracing for a massive spike in oil prices the moment the clock strikes 8 tomorrow night. If the strait stays closed, the managed hostilities of 2025 will look like a skirmish compared to what's coming. As we head into the final hours of April 21st, the situation remains fluid. To recap, Russia has withdrawn its primary mediation offer. Iran denies the removal of its uranium is even up for debate, and the US blockade in the Arabian Sea has reached a breaking point. Tomorrow at 8 p.m., the 14-day ceasefire ends. Will the envoys in Pakistan pull a miracle out of the hat, or will the world wake up on April 23rd to the sound of a renewed and much more dangerous conflict? We will be tracking every development. For real-time alerts, scrolling tickers and live maps of the conflict zones, stay tuned to the Pink TV portal. Follow us on X and Telegram for breaking news as it happens.